Cloudcast Media. Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
I'm Drew Schlosberg with Cloudcast Media. So pleased to have in the studio with us today is Kathy Sebuck. She is the founder and CEO of Marchitecture. How you doing, Kathy?
I'm great. Thanks for having me, Drew.
Good to see you again. Joining me, as always, is my co-host, Kristen Fogel. She is the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc., celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. Kristen, how are you doing?
I'm good. If by always you mean from 9 to 10 o'clock, then yes, we do this always, but...
That's right. Thanks for the clarification.
No, you know,
over here. This will be the last co-host that she'll be doing with us.
Oh, well, all right.
Appreciate that.
That was good.
No, she's got a very, very cool. How's the 20th anniversary events turning out? Good?
It's good. It's going. We have some good stuff planned. Yeah. All is good in the hood, as the kids probably don't say anymore.
And you're looking at a big event to be determined in October, is that correct?
October, yeah. We're going to do some hardcore, also something the kids don't say anymore, celebrating in October.
Right, and it'll be at Liberty Station?
Yes, it will be at the Lightbox Theater.
All right, very, very cool. We'll look forward to that and we'll certainly promote it when it gets closer. I know you have a question for Kathy.
I do, yeah. I thought that we would just start with the mission of Marchitecture.
That's a great question.
Why, thank you.
I think you could answer it.
Yeah, we'll see.
Well, It's hard to say. Every day it changes, keeps it interesting.
Very
But we're really trying to just create connected empowerment. And so building businesses from the inside out, we work with people to build leadership skills and to provide marketing communications, business consulting services. So working with startups, nonprofits, individuals, solopreneurs, you name it, we're trying to help the world be a better place.
Cool. It sounds like a worthwhile mission.
So what got you this idea? You're obviously created. What was the epiphany to do Marchitecture?
The epiphany. Well, there's been many.
I like using that word. This will be the last time I'll use it.
Makes me sound important, yeah. So for 25 years, I spent a lot of time in what I call boot camp affectionately, which corporate tech will teach you a lot and eventually help you leave. And so in 2019, I decided it was time for me to go and learned a ton and thought I would cut my teeth on my own consulting business. So I had done a bunch of side projects over the years, worked with a lot of different companies in my sales and marketing leadership role. So I was like, you know what? I think I can make a bigger impact by myself, which, yes, is the truth. But as we all know, being an entrepreneur is hard work and it's lonely. And so, I think this is where community becomes really, really important, both internal community and external community, so you can connect with people and really make a difference. And so I think the reason that really prompted my exit was I wanted to make a bigger impact.
Yeah. So, is there a certain type of company that you work with that fits more into the mold, so to speak, of Marchitecture, or any company?
It's a great name, by the way, too.
Thank you. Well, like you think about architecture, you add an M. We do marketing communications, Marchitecture, we're building.
Right.
Originally, we were building with startups and tech because that's where I started my career back in the day when, startups weren't even a thing.
Right.
Showing my age. And so we started on the tech side, and then really I got pulled into what I really love to do, and my passion is nonprofit. And so I spent a lot of time doing some volunteer work and things, and I thought, you know what, can't I just maybe move over to this sector and find a balance between, tech startups, which can, of course, make you crazy, as well as, you love to hate them.
Right.
And regular corporate customers or clients that need strategy or a fractional CMO, but then nonprofits and startups who really are small businesses who really don't get the resources that the big companies get, and that you can make so much impact in terms of helping them. Not that you they can't get other resources, but not everybody's really focused on that sector because, of course, that's not where the money is.
Yeah, what's interesting about that, we all know it's small business that runs every single city,
Yes.
large and small. I think 80,000 of them here in San Diego County. They are the driver of what's going on, and people will talk about the Qualcomms and the Sempras and all that. Certainly, they do their fair share, but it's the small companies. 5 people, 25 people, whatever. We all know this. As well in that area, and I think you're really spot on that. It's amazing what type of impact you can make and how quickly you can make that impact with the right person in this area. So, how long have you been in San Diego?
I've been in San Diego just over 3 years.
Okay, 3 years, right? And you're from Chi-Town area. Am I remember that or not?
I am originally a Chicago native. I finally outran Old Man Winter.
Yeah, very good.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank you. Feels good.
Yeah.
So just the question before we get more in depth on architecture, doing business here in San Diego, a little bit different than other places you've been, especially in this space?
Definitely different. I wouldn't say good or bad. It's
Right.
really difficult to do business during a pandemic.
Well, probably anywhere,
Yes.
correct?
Right. I had miscalculated that when I moved. Obviously, I was a pandemic jailbreak. So when I got here, I was all excited and had 2 weeks of freedom and talking to people, and then they locked the city down.
Yeah.
So you can
Nice.
imagine.
Are you the reason why they did it?
Probably.
Okay, that,
Absolutely.
Make a note last time, Kathy Sebuck on the show.
Exactly.
So, you're right, that's a tough start in that area. But as now, here we are, and it's amazing. There's 4 years from that date, whatever, March 13th or whatever in 2020 in that area. Are you finding that the nonprofits you work with in San Diego County or small for-profits are really open to all the different things you're bringing them?
I think they are. I think a lot of people are looking for new solutions. You know, digital marketing, which is where I spend a lot of time, is more buzz than, social media is what it is. It's a channel. And so people are really looking for, I think, more solid integrated strategies that do multiple things for them, not just post online. And so people are open to it. I think, while we were on lockdown, my digital marketing skills came in handy because, of course, that's how I networked all over the community and met some people and, 50,000 Zoom meetings. But then obviously once, everything opened up, I had those relationships and the community people that I had met through people and connections, which is clearly what I care about, really obviously opened the door to a lot of amazing things. And so did the volunteer efforts that I, was part of.
Right.
And so when you really spend the time to build those relationships and get to know people, it's amazing what can happen.
Yeah, without question. We're chatting with Kathy Sebuck. She's the founder and CEO of Marchitecture. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We are the nation's longest-running community podcast, now in our 18th year. We're brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union and broadcasting from this really cool Mission Fed studio on Scripps Ranch. Mission Fed first. Yeah, not too bad. Huh? For 6 decades, I've been doing just spectacular things for so many of us here in San Diego County, joined by my colleague. She is the executive director of
I am the executive director of Kristen Fogel.
Well, I'm not sure if you are. You may be.
That's probably my son, actually. Is the
I was just going
executive
to say,
director. Yeah.
that's right. You go son,
Yeah.
you go maybe animal, pet, husband in there. You may be fourth on the list.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
am the executive director of San Diego Writers Inc. So,
You are, exactly.
yeah.
So
There's
right,
always a hierarchy.
There's
Yeah.
always a hierarchy. I love what this was one of the topics you wanted to talk about, Kathy. Can you elaborate on why personal alignment is important for success in business and life? I love that.
So think about a time when you were doing something that didn't feel good and you had to do it and you were doing it, but you weren't happy about it. Imagine a whole lifetime of that. I think a lot of people are caught in the autopilot of life.
Yeah.
I was one of them. And, there's good and bad to everything, and it's a great learning opportunity. But when you're not really aligned with where you want to be or what you want to do,
Right.
you're not really lit up. You're not really happy. I mean, I think these are why we have the Karens of the world. There's all kinds of reasons people act like they do. And most of the reason the bad behavior, I think, surfaces because people are unhappy.
Right.
Whereas if you're doing what you're doing
Right.
and you love it, regardless of what it is, and you're in alignment with, where you're supposed to be and your gifts and what you like to do, you live a better life.
Well, listen, I think that what I love about that statement is something that we're starting to do in the schools now. I spent many years at San Diego Unified, and I still stay in that space with the schools. And we're finally understanding. Some of the great teachers have been doing it since a million years ago, and we all know since we were
Absolutely.
walking upright, when you actually do something you love to do, it's amazing what you can accomplish, right? Well, we're starting to focus a lot more on that in the schools. Was learner-centered instruction. Hey, why don't we ask the kids what they're interested in? We can weave in what the curriculum will deal with it. So it makes all the sense in the world. But are people, when you peel the onion on this question, our folks are doing things that they're just doing it. How much of it ties to the economics?
Always. I mean, you think about it.
Yeah.
Especially, I think it's awesome that, we're really focused on kids and teachers and
Yes.
where you want to be because, let's be honest. When we went to school, it was like, where can you make the most money?
Yeah.
How are you going to be the most successful? And, we have doctors and lawyers running around going, I'm miserable. And so when you can get to the kids, in fact, that's why I do a lot of work at UCSD in the basement where we talk about dreams and starting businesses and, what do you really love to do? And instead of chasing funding and product fit, what's going to light you up? And so I think, when you really look at that big picture, when you can get ahead of it when you're younger, and, life changes and people change. So what you think you want to do today, let's be honest, we've all been on different career tracks and had a left turn or a right turn or whatever. But I think those are the lessons that give you that resilience to say, you know what, this isn't working. And I'm going to take a risk to maybe try something different.
Right, exactly. And it is taking that risk, and we all know this, that you're going to have to skin your knees sometimes, especially in the world of entrepreneurism. And if you're not comfortable skinning your knees, that's not the place you need to be in this area. We come back from break. We're going to continue the conversation with Kathy Sebuck, founder and CEO of Marchitecture. I know Kristen wants to dive into what connected balance is. She's got some questions for you on that and other things you want to chat about. And we always save time in the second half of the interview, Kathy, for what our listeners could do to support your efforts in any which way that makes sense for you. So we'll be right back. Kathy Sebuck, she's the founder and CEO of Marchitecture. I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. We will be right back.
When you do your banking with Mission Fed, you get great rates on auto and home loans. That's good for you, but something good also happens for a lot of other people. We're not for profit, so we put money back into the community to help lots of great nonprofits to keep San Diego strong. So you're not just getting something good, you're doing something good. Come to Mission Fed. It's banking that's good for all.
Brand amplification is the DNA of Cloudcast Media, and our code is the powerful blending of sound, voice, and storytelling to lift local brands and their communities. Whether it is our Brandcast, Schoolcast, or Causecast platforms, the unifying ethos is all about this community, the one you call home. If you dare to dream and want to explore the brand amplification of Cloudcast, a national leader in local podcasting and other Winfluence strategies, please visit us at cloudcast.us.
I'm Drew Schlosberg of Cloudcast Media. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We're in the nation's longest running community podcast, now in our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, doing great things for San Diegans for more than 6 decades. We are joined by Kathy Sebuck, founder and CEO of Marchitecture, and I am always happy to have my sidekick with me, Kristen. A threat. Kristen Fogel. She is the executive director of San Diego Writers Inc. Kristen, I know you have a question for Kathy.
I do. We have this connected balance, it's capitalized. It's got the fancy TM symbol behind it and everything. So we should probably chat about it.
Well, it's all about the trademarks. I think everybody's got great ideas. And when you come up with one, which you obviously modify from other things you learned because nothing's new, you kind of want to own it.
Yeah.
So Connected balance is 25 years of understanding that when you connect your heart, your mind, and your body together, that intelligence really can help you make better decisions. And I think, unfortunately, in our busy, fast-paced, always-on world, we are always living in our heads.
Mm-hmm.
We're trying to do things. We're trying to go places. We have agendas, goals we're trying to achieve. And when we don't stop and take a breath and tap into our heart and maybe even listen to our body, I mean, how many times have you been somewhere and you've gotten some kind of intuition from your gut? This isn't good, or, oh my God, this is amazing. I have butterflies, and we ignore it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's wisdom. And so when you operate from all three of those places, you're definitely in alignment. And living in your head, I've learned from my own crash and burn that sometimes, you need that balance. And so when you're fully connected, you're balanced.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you get fully connected? And this, maybe 2 out of 3 are connected, but all 3 have to be, correct?
For me, I think,
Gotcha. Okay.
think about it. If your head and your heart are connected, but your body's telling you something and you're ignoring it, aren't you missing something?
Yes, I'm missing a lot of things. So that's a 17-hour.
That's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole new podcast, for God's sake.
So I'm with you. I drink the Kool-Aid. I don't say that facetiously, but how does this play out in your business? So
Sure.
without giving away all of your tips and tricks and things like that, how does
Sure.
that play out?
Well, and I think there's tons, this is where conscious leadership and mindfulness and everything comes, into play, where this is sort of new, but not, because I'm sure we've been really doing some of this and we've adopted most of this from the Eastern world. But I think when people actually slow down for 5 minutes, take a breath and really think about what you're doing, who you're doing it with, what you really want to be doing, how that feels. I think we've been told since day one, leave your heart at home.
Mm-hmm.
There's no crying in baseball. There's so many things about stuffing your emotions. And now that EQ or emotional intelligence has become so important, that's not new. I think it's just new to the regular world because we've been operating with our brain independently, which, the brain has a purpose. Obviously, we get a lot done. But when our heart's not at the table and our body's not actually included, we're missing out. So bringing that to the business world, when you think about who you're meeting with and what you're doing, and this is why I believe building your business from the inside out is really worth it, because if you're not operating on all of those fronts, your conversations not only with your team, your staff, your clients, your customers, you're not necessarily present and connected with all of that. And so you might get caught up in your agenda and forget that maybe your customers, that's not the customer's best interest, or you're caught up in profit. And so is that profit really for the greater good of everybody that's involved? And so when you're looking, I think it's really about a bigger picture lens and actually being mindful to take the moment to say, does this make sense? Versus are we caught up in the goal for the second?
Well, and we know we've had folks on the show quite a bit talking about a little bit what you're mentioning. Is it good for, the environment? Is it good for people? Is it good for X, Y, and Z? And I think now people are demanding more of that with that, whatever that company is,
Sure.
wherever you're making widgets or whatever the case. And what are you doing to improve this? Now, we know that's not a new concept to some extent. A billion research coming out of Cohn Roper on cause marketing is that you're going to support those companies that align with what your giving is,
Sure.
And we know that, so that's not new. But now people are starting to demand a little bit more about this. I'm going to go to X product because X product is really focused on something that I really care about. Not
Right.
that Y product is a bad product, but I'm going to go with X.
Well, and let's be honest, a real big ticket item that you buy is an emotional sell.
Right.
And so when you look at whether it's a house, a car, a $50,000, I should say $1 million software, solution, which is where I spend a lot of my time.
Right.
You really have to feel that it's going to make sense and it's going to work. And that goes back to, these connections. If you just operate in your head and go, yeah, it makes fiscal sense and we're going to do all these things, but you don't take into account maybe the jobs that it's going to eliminate or the people that are going to be affected by the implementation, it's a bigger picture. And so it's looking at that bigger picture.
All right, we're chatting with Kathy Sebuck. She is the founder and CEO of Marchitecture. I'm Drew Schlosberg. You're listening to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show. We're the nation's longest running community podcast, now in our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, 6 decades of just doing great things in our region. Joined by my co-host, Kristen Fogel. She's the executive director of San Diego Writers, Inc. Got another question for Kathy.
Always. Let's talk a little bit about using growth mindset. I know that's become kind of popular in the lexicon and everything, but what does that mean in your world, and what can be gleaned from that?
So I think a growth mindset means different things to everyone. Mm-hmm. And now we have this new term called toxic positivity. Mm-hmm. And so we're going to, rebrand that too. But I think really the growth mindset is a curious learner. Mm-hmm. And so when you look at things in life, personal, professional, what are you learning from it? What can you learn from it? And so that growth mindset can really help you look at obstacles and challenges as opportunities for growth. Now, that's easier said than done. Obviously, when you get fired, your first response isn't, oh my God, this is amazing. And I think I want to, just start a whole new chapter in my life. Yeah. It's usually forced. I've been laid off 3 times. It's never expected. Mm-hmm. And, I think as you learn, because you're curious, and while it's cliche, there's always something good that comes from change. And it's whether or not you can keep that positive outlook. And there's all kinds of tools that, can help you do that. And aside from, day drinking and drugs, there's certainly, literal things physically that you can do, whether it's breathing, because that interrupts your brain patterns, or, there's plenty of tools out there like, positive intelligence that is, there's all kinds of what I would call bigger thinker, luminary people, from, transformational presence to positive intelligence to, even emotional intelligence at some level. There's tools within each of those mindsets, if you will. And so I think it's helpful to get acquainted with some of them. We all know life can be a challenge. And instead of a takedown exercise, maybe, if you take a big breath and kind of remove yourself from the situation, you can actually see some positive next steps as a result.
Yes. So what can our listeners do to support your efforts? Is it, go to the website, look at some of the services you offer, the programs you offer? Is it bring clients to you? Is it whatever, play tiddlywinks?
It's probably that.
Tiddlywinks is always good.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't. It's just funny. I'm just thinking about this. How many people have actually played tiddlywinks?
I've played tiddlywinks.
I've played tiddlywinks,
but not for a minute. Probably not for 30 years.
I guess I'm the only one who's never done tiddlywinks.
It's right up there with Jack's.
We'll get you some. Charles hasn't either. We're going to get you some branded Cloudcast tiddlywinks.
You need Tiddlywinks Day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful. All right, Kathy Sebuck has said it, and she will be now.
It's my gift to you, Tiddlywinks Day.
Beautiful.
Excellent.
Okay. All right, good. Just because you said it, that's going to happen. All right, very, very good. But seriously, what can our listeners do to support what you're doing?
So one of the things I love to do is teach workshops, and I teach them in various veins, whether it's for volunteer purposes over at SCORE or at UCSD, or obviously for companies who need it. And so whether it's storytelling for business or it's core values or anything in the space that I'm talking about, how to use the growth mindset tools, what they are, I actually created a program called the Connected Balance Experience. And so it is on my website, and it is available in a workshop format or a digital format. It's on a learning platform called Housebase. And so I really feel that this skill set or this toolbox is something we all need, because especially coming off the pandemic, we've seen the effects of, everyone's been emotionally affected by it, whether it's, sadly the suicide rate or what's going on, the alcoholism. There's so much aftermath. And I think the ripple effect of that is a longer term thing. And so really getting anchored in some good tools that you decide that work well for you, there's so many out there. And so through these types of programs, they're available, they can be taught. They're not hard. It's just one of those things where shifting your mindsets can be difficult.
Right, exactly. How'd they get a hold of you? What's the website?
Marchitecture.tech.
Okay.
Or you can find me on LinkedIn. Okay. I am always available. Love to chat with people and meet new minds and really try to make a difference.
Right. And then, and with that will come with a free game of Tiddlywinks.
That's right.
What do you think?
That's a given.
It is very, very good. We'll expect to see that on your website at the next time that you're on the show, if that sounds fine. Kathy, thank you so much for sharing some of your cool thoughts on Marchitecture, and we look forward to having you come back somewhere down the road.
Thanks so much. I appreciate the time.
My pleasure. Kathy Sebuck, founder and CEO of Marchitecture. I'm Drew Schlosberg. Listen to another edition of Drew Schlosberg Spotlight on the Community Show, nation's longest running community podcast, now in our 18th year, brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union. As always, Kristen Fogel, my co-host, Executive Director of San Diego Writers Inc. Thanks for your insights as well.
Anytime. Thank you.
Very good. We hope you enjoyed the show.
You've been listening to an episode of Drew Schlosberg's Spotlight on the Community Show, amplifying the voices of social impact organizations, entrepreneurs, local nonprofits, and other community champions who shape the culture, creativity, and connectivity of San Diego community. Brought to you by Mission Fed Credit Union, bringing good things to San Diego for over 60 years. Learn more about what is good for you and good for all by visiting www.missionfed.com.
Cloudcast Media.